All right, we are live, and I am so excited for our event today. We are going to be talking to the filmmakers that are behind the 5 films that are in our festival, our festival right now. And we are still waiting for our moderator. Hopefully she'll come on soon. But the moderator, oh, here she is. Okay. Yep, she's back. So the moderator is Patricia Vidal Delgado. She is the director of La Leyenda Negra. I actually found out about Patricia's film at Sundance 2020, and I actually was able to physically be there and physically see her talk about her film, and I fell in love with it. You know, we had a great discussion, a great feature that I did with her last year. And then she was a mentor for our first festival. So she's been really involved with Cinema Femmes. So I'm just so excited that she can, as a filmmaker, as these other emerging artists that are so talented, she can ask them questions about their films. So I'm going to bring everybody up, and then we'll go from there. All right, I'll see you guys.
Hello.
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 Thank you so very much for that wonderful introduction, Rebecca. I'm so excited to speak with you directors about your fantastic films. So let's get started. And so I wanted to ask you to please tell us your name, the title of your film, and give us a little synopsis for your work, just for the people who are joining us who may not have had a chance to watch your film yet. And if we could please start with Katrina.
Yeah, I'm Katrina Weber, and I am the director of A Morning, a Mother, and a Boy, which is a film about one morning in the life of a mother and her 4-year-old son who doesn't want to go to kindergarten. And I don't know if I should spoil the the ending, but it's about the dilemma of being a mother and wanting the best for your child, and at the same time, having your own ambitions and needs as a mother and as a woman.
Absolutely, and that was really beautifully conveyed. I loved how intimate and naturalistic your film was in that register. Dianne, could you please go to you next?
Hi, my name's Dianne, and I'm the writer, director, producer, and actress in this little film called Cloud Gazing. And it's based on a snippet of my life when I first came to New York City. But the story is it's after an umpteenth move, a woman and her best friend. After an umpteenth move in NYC, a woman and her best friend embark on a journey through imagination to a place of childlike wonder. Yes, that's the actual logline. I wish I could say it in a much more naturalistic, rambling way. And I'm an actress, I can do that. But let's just say it is based on what happened when I first came to New York. I moved a lot, and I condensed it in 5 minutes. Just something to try out, Yep.
Dianne, I think that your wall decor matches mine.
Yeah.
Just randomly. I mean, mine is for a script. What about yours?
Yes, I am. The muse has come. I've had writer's block for a bit, and the next tactic was making cloud gazing. It was just another chess move, and then it just happened. And what you see in the back is just me moving things around. I'm trying a completely different way of writing, actually, and it's just flowing like a waterfall. Yeah, I'm being inundated, and this is what you see at the back is at least some sense of structure, but at the same time holding it very loosely. Do not control it. Don't force things. But yeah, I'm still so new and green and learning how to do this. So I hope that makes sense to you.
I mean, cloud gazing was so playful and so uplifting, and I really like that message of trying to find beauty and comedy in what other people might deem damage. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If we could go to Jacqueline next, please.
Yeah, hi. My name is Jacqueline Zary, and I'm the writer, director, and co-editor of Monkey Bars. Monkey Bars is about a 14-year-old girl and her two best friends as they embark on a questionable night with some older boys that they meet on Facebook. And the film explores the stark difference between our main character's perspective, which is quite romantic and dreamy, versus the tragic reality of what really happens that night.
I thought beautifully shot, beautifully edited, and the sound design was just awesome.
Thank you.
Really gorgeous. Could we then go to Jessica, please?
Yes. Hi, I'm Jessica Liu, and I'm the writer and director of Prom Time. And the logline is basically upon overhearing her teen daughters recount their dating experiences while getting ready on prom night, Judy accidentally drugs herself with Chinese herbal medicine, spiraling her into a gaudy sexual fantasy with the class hunk. So I guess it's a bit of a cross-generational piece with some dark humor and magical realism. And I wanted to just explore the mindset of an immigrant mother and kind of flesh her out and see, the what gets passed down from generation between mother and daughter, be it desires or fears, things like that.
I found it hilarious, really just fantastically comedic, and a very insightful view of, cross-cultural, intergenerational dynamics, specific to mother and daughter. Mm-hmm. And last but not least, Amina, please.
Hello, this is Amina Maher. I am the director of the film Letter to My Mother. And Letter to My Mother deals with the themes of social taboos, and it was a means for survival for me and the way to stand up and speak out. And I tried to break taboos and boundaries, both social and personal. And if I say more about it, I believe that I will spoil the movie, because yes, I prefer that you watch it. I can also add this, that for me it was very important to see in which way I can basically visualize the shame and trauma, because it was like a trauma therapy. That's why I say that it was a means for survival for me, and to understand better in which society we live, and to question more heteronormative masculinity and the patriarchal elements.
I mean, I found it so brave and so bold, powerful and raw. It's definitely the kind of filmmaking that I'm drawn to and get very, very excited about. And I believe that we have a question for Amina. Were there particular aspects of your experience working with Kiristami that made you want to explore cinema on your own terms?
This is a very difficult question to answer. I guess the answer is neither yes or no. Of course, it was in many ways influential being in cinema from that early age, or being shown, or because the movie was my real life. I didn't know the camera was on recording me, so basically I didn't act at all in that movie. And so it was very, of course, influential and had an impact on my life, because my life was shown to the world and for many people. But I can say more. It was important to see in this movie that child and the relationship of mother and that child, and the things that couldn't be told at that period of time to the mother, and to understand what are these like what this shame come from, and perhaps like to understand the attitude of that child better. I mean, like for, as I said, I'm like a seeker, and I don't think that I'm a, like someone who knows. It was really for me the way to experience and to explore and to understand. So I did it more intuitively, and I didn't think really about what will be the consequences of uh, going and exploring this, but these themes. But I try to short it. That movie also was influential on my life, and I'm not. It was always this question to know which parts of my desires are an intrinsic part of me, and which parts of my desires are the result of my history, such as acting in the movie 10. I guess we cannot separate them, but I believe that there are a lot of other reasons why I make art, and I continue making films. It's more like a survival for me, and a way to revising injustices and fight for justice somehow. I hope that it was not a slogan or propaganda.
No, I mean, to me, it felt so authentic and vulnerable. And I want to thank you for sharing your powerful story with the Cinema Femme audience.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to be between you and for these beautiful selections and great movies. I'm very happy for this.
We also have a question for Jessica. What inspired you to incorporate elements of magical realism into your short film?
That's definitely a good question. I guess I had been playing around with and exploring different aspects of the question just for myself, like what does it mean to be Asian American, specifically Chinese American? And I actually delved into Eastern medicine, like, acupuncture and herbs and things like that. And I found it very, just very interesting at the time. And there was actually a philosophy I heard where, I'm probably going to butcher it, but it basically says like, when your grandmother was alive, like she had the eggs of, your mother and also yourself. So I kind of thought of like, that's pretty interesting, just the metaphysical aspects of that. And even if you don't ever talk about many things with your parents, you might feel some things that they went through. So I just felt like magical realism was kind of a fun way to play with that. And I actually had a friend who introduced me to the film Like Water for Chocolate. And I really loved that film and got inspired by that too.
I really love that tension between maybe the mother not finding it difficult to express affection for her daughters, but still, really loving her daughters so profoundly. And at the end of the film, she expresses it in her own way.
Right. Yeah.
And so my next question for you all was, what was the collaborative process like while making your film? Could we start with Katrina, please?
Well, my film was the final project at a film school I was attending. So I was, of course, collaborating with my teachers, getting a lot of good feedback about the story and whether or not it was something that actually I was really doubting whether it would be interesting enough for other people to watch. And I think it was such a personal story because I was very much at that time really, really busy making films and very affected by this whole dilemma because my son wasn't very happy about going to kindergarten, also because I was so busy doing other stuff. So it was sort of a story that came very much from my heart. So I was maybe doubting a little bit whether it would be too private. But everybody was saying to me that this was, a really good story and something that a lot of people could relate to. So collaboratively, I don't know, I collaborated, of course, with my son, who was an actor in the film, and he really enjoyed being part of it. Actually, he had a very good time doing the film, and I had a cinematographer with me who was really excellent and had a very natural, approach to filming, and an editor who I worked with before, who very much feels the material and is very sort of into the story. So that was, but it was a student film, so yeah.
Thank you so much, Katrina. Could we go to Dianne next, please?
Hey, collaboration. Okay. This is my first film. I have not gone to film school. So this is for the layman. This is for the person who's just thought, you know what, I'll just give it a shot. And it was hard. It was a steep learning curve for me because I thought simply, it's shot in one room. How hard can that be? Oh, seriously, there was another camera. It's really a comedy, the way it was all shot. I banged and crashed my way through. I'm just going to be absolutely transparent with you about that. But there's something about owning it. There's something about, being a newcomer with fresh new eyes with a different interpretation, and how the worlds collide with other people who say are professionals, who are seasoned and stuff like that. A lot of things start to percolate, and there's a lot of exchange. Okay, so let's say, I would say I love my collaboration with not just my muse. My muse was just so interesting. There's this thing, I don't know how to describe it, but conceptualizing cloud gazing, like, pulling, it starts off into the sky, pull out and just follow the line of this of where the ceiling and the wall meets to the corner, and then on the punchline of 9, change it to the other corner of the room. Now, for me, in my world, I think that's bloody hilarious. I think my muse also thinks that's hilarious. Trying to translate that to the DP, that's another thing altogether, and to the editor as well. But I think they're all learning lessons, and I had a great collaboration with my consulting producer, Phil Newsom, who's a guy. I was fighting for an all-woman team, so he snuck in somehow. He was great. He was the guy who basically, no, go here, no, try that, no, do this next. So he was awesome. And I thought my composer was incredibly instinctive, but she happens to be a teacher at some university teaching, composing music for film. So she was on the money when she just she read my script, she saw the rough cut, and she said she saw first time filmmaker. She goes, Dianne? I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. Like, awesome. She goes, I'm probably going to miss the mark so bad on the first shot. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And that's the empathy, because that's someone who knows how to work with the first timer. So yeah, as far as actors, I'm an actor, so casting was a breeze to me. I don't understand, like when I saw on the budget, when $200 for casting, I'm like, what's that? Like, Dianne, you go to auditions, it's for the room, you book a room. I'm like, nah, man, we're going to do it on FaceTime, and the callbacks are going to be done at my work, okay? It's because I'm an actor. Nothing fancy. It's about the energy and the connection with other actors. You just know. But the rest is just freestyling, like learning how to direct, learning how to produce. All that stuff was a grand mess, but beautiful. And I think it's worth it. Call it my version of film school. So be it. But I hope that paints a picture of collaboration. It's not all sunshine and roses. It's not unicorns and rainbows, but it's still worth it, especially if you want to discover your own voice, you know? You want to nurture that. So, yeah. I hope that paints a nice picture for you guys about my collaboration.
Very encouraging words for whoever is watching who's maybe hasn't directed a film and is a little bit scared to go for it.
Don't be, yes, be scared. It's natural to be scared. But there's a difference between dreaming it and saying, I want to do something, and actually walking it. So just do it. Just do it. It's your money. Go for it. You know, and you just hope that the universe, the hand of the universe is in there, and the right people you have magnetized. Even the ones that you had friction with, it doesn't matter. There's the silver lining. You learn so much. And I'm going to say that I have gained more from the experience, not gained less. Do you get what I mean? I want to make another film. Does that sound mad? No. You know what I mean? So I'm not disheartened. It's worth it.
Thank you, Dianne. And can we please go to Jacqueline to hear about your collaborative process?
Yeah, sure. So it was definitely the biggest collaboration like ever. I had an amazing team, and we worked all so closely together. My producer, Raymond Knudsen, my partner, my boyfriend, he does everything with me, Steven, and also my cinematographer, Rob. We all went to film school together. And from there on, we just all stayed connected, and they were like a huge part of getting the movie together. I kind of bit off a lot more than I could chew. I was very ambitious, being that it was the first project out of film school, and we had a lot, you know, of support in film school. So I thought, oh, this will be super easy. We'll do this film, and it will be a breeze. And I realized that there's a lot more that goes into, you know, the process than I originally anticipated. So they were all incredibly supportive and incredibly talented and hardworking, and put their all into the movie. So that was really nice to just have those people behind me. And then, of course, the collaboration with the actors, specifically Sophia, too, who's the main actress in the movie, and Chris as well. You know, we really had a lot of conversations that we kind of went past just the, you know, surface level, and got into each other's, you know, past, and really just tried to connect on a deeper level. So when it came to set, it would all come out, and we'd have this mutual understanding about, you know, what we've all been through. And then also working with the composer, John Violet. That was awesome because I never met him in person, actually. It's a brother of a friend that I know from film school. And we just kind of connected through the phone. And from there on, I would try my best to explain what kind of sounds I wanted. Sometimes I would make weird noises to try and, you know, translate what I was going on in my head. But he did an amazing job with putting it together and adding his own unique sort of style to it. And then, of course, the whole crew, who was a lot of alumni from my film school, along with some people that just worked in Long Island that we found online. You know, it was a hard set. It was definitely difficult. It was freezing. It was actually just about this time last year that we were outside doing overnights. And everyone volunteered. So, I mean, it's nothing without everybody that put their all into, you know, the whole project. So, and just believing in, you know, me and the story that I wanted to tell, and being brave enough to tell the story, I guess. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for telling such a touching coming of age yarn. Can we please ask Jessica next about your collaborative process?
Yeah, I think, you know, just to kind of echo what everyone had said before, like, I think when you're making a film, there's kind of this idea that something will always go wrong. So, you know, you got to prepare the best you can, but just, it's also about thinking on your feet. And I think, yeah, collaboration was definitely key especially being a self-financed indie project, which I'm sure we all have experience with. And I just feel really thankful for the team that I worked with. I would say, for example, like my lead actress, Leanne, she actually helped me a lot with the Chinese dialogue, being in the fact that while I speak Chinese, I can't read or write it. So I would kind of collaborate with her on like the exact wording and lines and things like that that reflected the character and mindset and colloquialism. And another thing was with the two sisters, Alice and Megan. Actually, Alice helped me to find Megan, who was already one of her friends. So that really helped with just the whole sister dynamic and the familiarity process. And just everyone involved, I can't really thank anyone enough, because it's a kind of thing where you're doing it for passion, not necessarily for the fame or the glory or money, because we're all up and coming. And I think that's just the beautiful aspect of filmmaking.
And what a blessing to have actresses that have given so much in terms of...
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was just really inspiring to work with, and just see people that actually could connect with the story off the bat, because I think when you're working by yourself, like in the writing process, it's really lonely, and it's almost like a lack of collaboration, to the point where I guess I'm the type of person that can overthink. So I would write and be like, is this going to work? Are people going to like this? Or is it even going to connect with anyone? And then the collaboration really ramps up when you're in production, and even just preparing for the whole thing. And I think that's just a really awesome part about it, because it definitely brings me out of my shell and just makes me feel more connected to people. And I feel really grateful for that.
Thank you, Jessica. Amina, especially on such a personal project, I would love to know about your collaborative process.
With my team, you mean?
Yes, I do notice that there was another actress, if you can call her that, in the film with you.
Sorry, just a second. Yes, the film was really a long process, I would say, and it was I don't know if you call it experimental or not. It's for a while that I don't like these categorizations, but whatever you call it, I try to be free, because I really struggle to free myself from different shackles of taboos and so on. Limitations, I would say, and it's very tough to really find freedom. I guess there are different layers of freedom. Once you take over one, the thicker one comes in front of your face, and I don't know, I can say for this freedom I also freed myself to use different types of material and imagery. I used archive, a few, like 1 minute from the movie 10, approximately. I use dream scenes to visualize shame and to tell the psychological consequences of the abuse. I use the filming in real time, like the conversation with the therapist, and all these parts, and also like the shaving, which is kind of abstract and poetic imagery. All these parts were filmed in different periods of time. And when I was in Malaysia, I was having these therapy sessions they were online through Skype with Dariush Baradari, the therapist. And when I was recording this, if I want to be honest, I was having some sessions, and I was like thinking, I'm doing this therapy, I'm paying for it, but nothing changed, I feel, or why I'm paying for this. And then I decided to record. And then afterwards, like when I was working on the film Letter to My Mother, I was listening to them. I found them very constructive for myself as well as for the film. And then I decided to use them for the film. And then the shaving I filmed in Berlin, and archive from the movie 10. It's a movie that was made in 2002. So I was 10 years old in this movie. And so to say, and the crew, I can tell that I always had a lovely small team. I love a small team, just one sound person, one camera person, and like perhaps one assistant, depends. Sometimes it needs more, but we were always working in a small team. And another girl who's shaving my ass in the movie, she was my ex, and the therapist is my therapist. This is, and then the rest is myself. And it was also important for me to show that I am not alone in this journey, and some moments of honesty and intimacy. I found like I wanted to keep it simple and honest as much as I can. And when later I was listening to this material of me and my therapist, I was thinking perhaps with my crew we can replicate recreate the material. But then I thought, I was talking to my therapist and even asking for this, but then I thought never the honesty can be replicated. It will be very fake if now that I am aiming for my movie, I take my camera and my sound person and because why we do therapy? Because things that I tell to my therapist, I don't tell it to my friends, to my family, because later on we will have a fight and they will use it against me, So the therapy, I go in a private room, in a dark room, to talk about my shames, what I'm ashamed, what I cannot tell to others easily. And when you bring the camera there and there's a team there, crew there to film this, it will not look like how it should look. And but this material for me, because I really was not aiming to film it for the movie, and I was just recording myself to see what I'm saying there, and then to listen to them to see if really therapy helps or not. So then it was honest, and I found it very interesting to use it anyhow. And like with the shaving, I would I need to add this. I need really to thank David from Babelsberg University, who has done the DOP of this job, and also like Mamoun Abu Farha, who helped in Malaysia and did the camera work there for us, and Darish Baradari, who we are doing the therapy still together, but now I have two therapists, one Iranian, one non-Iranian, to cover everything. And then yes, and then the sound artist Ines De Silon, really Ines worked on the sound design of this movie, and I can say something like over a year. And for the dream scenes, I call them dream scenes, but it's like showing the pure desires, because in documentary films, how you can show the psychological consequences or what happens here, so Ines really helped with her sound design to visualize like shame and repression for us. And like Benedict Ludwig, who has done this 5.1 surround mix, and he's like really great. We love really this mix. So, and it's self-produced and self-distributed. So, and I'm in front of the camera and I edited the film, and I'm a director. So it's a big shame to be that much amateur.
No, it's a film it's having such international success, and I'm so glad that it's being seen and being noticed and discussed.
Thank you so much for this. Yes, I'm also happy, and it's a really matter of luck. Thank you.
So the Q&A is blowing up. So let's go to question for the group. To what extent has this past year of the pandemic reshaped or reaffirmed your goals as an artist? Any takers?
I'll go. Yeah, I would say the pandemic was, I mean, obviously it changed everybody's lives, but I think it's an odd opportunity now where you just have a lot of time to reflect. And I mean, we actually ended up editing during quarantine, right when everything broke out. So I mean, the beginning months of the pandemic, we were in our own little world, and it wasn't until later when we were, kind of done with the movie, finishing it up, that every reality started to hit. But I mean, I would say, and the pandemic, in a way, although there's, you know, a lot of doubt and there's a lot of time to doubt yourself, and, you know, it's not the happiest time, obviously, in a way, it did reshape and reaffirm my goals as an artist. I think right now, you know, our
Unfortunately, Jacqueline, you've frozen up. But maybe we can ask the next question for Katrina. You say you wondered if the film was too private. How do you navigate telling a story so personal?
I think what was important to me was that the way I approached it technically and artistically, so that I wanted to show it more objectively. So I chose angles like from like a bird's perspective. I chose to go into details, to simplify, always to simplify the image, to try and to show the scene and the people in a more objectively. So that was one consideration. I think something else was that I spoke to a lot of people who experienced the same that I did. So I felt that I could see a lot of reflection in other people's lives, and to me that made it universal, you know. So it wasn't actually private. I found out that this is a very universal feeling that a lot of mothers have, and a lot of, you know, I think some children also feel the same as my son did. Yeah, but it was a really, really difficult film to make, and I was really challenged at some point, especially editing the film was really hard on me. You know, at some point, my editor, she was just doing a rough cut, and I was crying when I watched it, because it was, you know, very personal and hard to navigate. But I think that I had to sort of, in a way, split, so that you know, I was the director, but I became like a little bit schizophrenic, because I was a mother and I was the director, and you know, at some points I was, you know, as the director, I was happy that things were happening, you know, during the different scenes, but as a mother, I was really unhappy. So it was hard to navigate, but I think maybe something every documentary director should experience, because it is hard to put your life out, as you know, Amina, you know, and let other people watch. Yeah.
Thank you, Katrina. And we've got a question for Jessica. What were some highlights or challenges you remember from shooting your film?
There are definitely a lot. I guess I would say one of the highlights was actually this was the first film that I directed in which I didn't edit myself, and I'm actually really glad that I worked with an editor for this. His name is Nate Tam, and he was just so talented. After seeing the first rough cut that he did, it just really elevated, like, you know, the fun aspects with sound design and the effects he added and the various cuts that he did, that it got me really excited for it again. Just because, you know, making a film is definitely a longer process than sometimes you would like it to be. So that was really great. And I think one of the challenges was definitely trying to secure the diner location. Since we had a limited budget, it was kind of challenging because, you know, there are ideas of like, maybe we can just kind of fake it a diner with production design or something like that. But it was just such a pivotal scene that I really wanted it to have the dreamlike quality and being, like the quote unquote typical American diner. So it was actually pretty cool because I ended up doing research and found this diner it's actually in Los Angeles, in Eagle Rock, actually, called Cindy's Diner. And I realized it was actually in a lot of large productions. So I was like, okay, why not just try emailing them? It's always worth a shot. And they actually were able to give us a discounted rate, though we only could shoot in there for 4 hours. So it was a huge challenge to just get everything that we needed within 4 hours, including breakdown and setup. So that was highly challenging as a director because sometimes, it would just be one take, and I also had to basically, cut out some shots that were not needed and prioritize them on the spot. So yeah, that was really challenging, but overall, just a great experience to strengthen my filmmaking muscle.
Absolutely. And I think since we're getting close to the end of our time together, our last question is, what's next for you? Shall we start with Katrina?
Well, I have a lot of different ideas at the moment that I'm working on, but one project is one building on a mourning mother and a boy, where I want to do a longer story, also concerned with motherhood, but I can't really talk anymore about that. But yeah.
Dianne, what about you?
So I think I mentioned it beforehand, but cloud gazing is a proof of concept for a web series called Mia Unraveling. And yeah, and since I have told you the muse is here and I'm writing. Yeah, I've broken through the writer's block. That's what's happening. I'm gunning for completion, and it looks like it's turning more into a feature film than an actual web series. It's a completely new way of writing or creating. Everyone has their own process. And I have just fathomed this. All the things that I've learned as an actor, writing the first draft several years ago, like 3 years ago, to dragging it to trash on your MacBook Pro, you know what I mean? All of this is scrimmage. Scrimmage is practice. If that's a basketball term, you're just practicing. The ball will miss the hoop a lot. But as you do that, I believe it hones your voice and your vision. For me, what's next is completing which I thought was my series, I believe is now a feature film, Mia Unraveling. I am super, super curious for collaboration to keep on learning, because what's within here, I'm hoping will magnetize the right people to me to make some pretty good stuff. So yeah, that's what's happening in my life right now.
Thanks, Dianne. And Jacqueline, what about you?
I would say, well, I'm actually this next weekend heading out to New Jersey to shoot a short horror movie. So that's what's immediately next, which I'm super excited about, and hopefully we'll be releasing it in next 2 months or something like that. I think it's just a great way to practice and to I have been working on a feature script for quite a while now, and so I feel like getting back on set, even if it's just the super, super small production, will refresh my brain a little bit. And so yeah, and then again, as I said, I'm working on a feature which is similar to Monkey Bars, a coming of age story that I've been writing for quite a while. So I'm still working on that, and just want to keep creating.
Fantastic. Jessica, what about you?
So for me, I actually last summer I got a deal by an independent studio to direct my first feature film. And yeah, I've been developing that with the writer. It's going to be a dystopian dark comedy. So that's really exciting, just to have, like, you know, a fully funded project that I won't have to worry about spending my own money on. But yeah, that's a great thing that is in the works, as well as I've been developing an anthology feature with 6 other women directors, all from different backgrounds, and it's going to take place in a span of different decades, from the 50s to now, and all focused on a different female character within the same house. So that's something that we're actually showing around to producers now, and I'm definitely excited about that. And aside from that, I'm also writing another feature film, which is going to be a rom-com, and just having fun doing that, as it's the first time that I'm taking a stab at writing a feature. So it's yeah, definitely a lot of fun.
Fantastic. And Amina, what's next for you?
Well, now I have a short movie fiction in post-production that hopefully will release next year. And currently I'm working on my first feature at the stage of financing and development. We are a lovely team. It's my final project for my master at Babelsberg University, and yes, it's much bigger project. It's again autoethnographic, but it's more about the social aspects of rape culture, and it's my journey to gender identity. And it has, again, similar themes, but I can say I explore more the style that I experienced in Letter to My Mother. And this time I drive and my mother next to me. So let's see what will happen.
Very exciting. I think that we've come to the end of our Q&A session. Thank you so much for spending this time with us, and congratulations again on all your beautiful films. And also thank you for sharing them with the Cinema Femme audience. I look forward to catching your future projects very soon.
Thank
you.
And I just wanted to thank you all for doing this. It's pretty amazing that we got everyone up here, from people from all over the world. So I'm so glad that we could all get together and talk about, you know, our passion projects and your amazing films. So I want to say, go to cinemafemme.com, click on the link that has the box link for their films, and $12, you get to see all the films. And tomorrow we will be having another Q&A around this time with the Gambia film Mabet, and we're looking forward to that. And yeah, so stay tuned, and thanks for joining us.